Hey guys, it's Mark and Jen with Sailing Lunacy. We are back on our ball in St. Thomas, and what does that mean?
Time to read the Galley.
It is long awaited. We've been carrying around some gear for a while, and now I think Jen is going to tell you why we're doing all of this and why she wants to take what's sitting behind her over there and chunk it in the ocean.
It's terrible. All right, so we have a Force 10 oven in the Galley. That's what came with the boat. It's supposed to be a good unit, but I don't love it. It doesn't heat evenly in the oven. I cook all the time. This burner comes on and off when it wants to. It's just, maybe it's just past its prime. So, big question, do we convert all the way to electric, or do we stay gas, or we do a combination? So we are doing a combination, and here's why. Okay, so we found an E12 gas cooktop in Grenada, actually in Carriacou, oddly enough, 3-burner. I think this is basically going to be a simmer, but I've got my big burner, my medium burner, and probably a simmer. That gives us propane cooking. So if our batteries are low for some reason, you know, rainy day, whatever, we can still cook. And I get the speed of cooking with gas that I prefer. For the oven, we're going with a Ninja Foodi, a newer model that does air frying, convection baking, fast baking. I think like 11 different things. It does so many different things. And we've tested it out. It works with our solar and our inverter and our lithium, and it's great. It doesn't draw very much. Well, okay, it draws a lot. But it cooks really fast, so it's fine. Okay, so then we also added a 3-quart Instant Pot, which I think is plenty for 2 to maybe 6 people, which has, again, a heavy draw right at first, but then it kind of slows down as it slow cooks, or makes rice in 4 minutes, or whatever you want to cook in it. So between all of these, I have a new Galley.
All right, so one of the complexities of doing this install is countertop. Right, so this Force 10 is its own standalone unit. It's basically hanging in this space. So we tried to source matching Corian on island and were unable to do so. The couple of options that we found that were close were insanely expensive. So what we're going to do is actually use something that contrasts, and something that will contrast and somewhat match a little bit or coordinate with the interior of the boat. If I'd have known it was that easy to move, we could have cleaned back here a long time ago. It just lifts up.
There's probably all kinds of fun surprises.
It's gross! As head chef, you probably shouldn't look.
Should we look? Yuck.
You don't really want to touch it anywhere.
Gross.
Yuck.
It cleans around here.
Chicken, steak, fish.
All of the above.
All of the above.
You're nasty. It's probably even like pre-us dirt. It's not even our dirt. Okay, it's not all our dirt. Ew.
What we've decided to use for the countertop is this gorgeous teak cutting board that I'm about to butcher with a saw. So that is going to wind up being the countertop. Not as great of a match as we had hoped. It's more orange until you put it up against the rest of the boat. But most of that is going to go away when I cut the center out to make the grill. Since the cooktop took up most of the space, we were able to repurpose the drop-off, and we now have this gorgeous cutting board. All right, there's the cooktop installed, sort of. Gonna have to do a little silicone along the back and the side there. Sometimes it's okay to use silicone on a boat. Solid, pulling on it. However, there is some weird, funky, maybe backwards threaded, maybe metric, maybe nobody knows connection. Nothing in the instructions about it, nothing I have on board fits, nothing I could find at the hardware store fits. So we have to get this standard fitting to that on an island. No problem down there. We made a bunch of changes to the 110 panel back when we did the lithium install, which will be actually in the next video. But basically we took one of the 30 amp ends that was on the boat, and that's what's running to the inverter. So we use this extra 30 amp. We split that, put in 2 breakers. Top one is for the water maker. This bottom one is to an outlet that's going to be dedicated to the air fryer. So in order to make that work, you have to go downstairs in a Leopard to the good old 110 panel. So from that switch, we're coming down here to number 4, ground, and running a new wire. Basically, if I pulled that panel off, it runs all the way across the boat to the other side. And now what we're trying to do is basically get a 110 outlet back here under the stove area. So basically, with a bunch of extrapolating and measuring using kind of this, this is the dish drying pan for reference. Measuring down about 15 inches. Drilled a small pilot hole right there. That's going to be our 110 in. So we're going to come in through here and then also in through here. And it looks like we're going to have to snake it back up through here. Pull it back up through that hole right there, and we're going to have a penetration right there. So that's basically where that pilot hole is. So we're going to upsize this hole, run the cord through there, drill a hole in the horizontal panel about this high up on this side, and then we're basically just going to unwire the outlet and wire it up in the hole. So you can see we have an outlet. Got to put some anti-chafe on that, and propane. That is the little booger that's been cursing us, and it's because it's a backwards threaded French plumbing thing. So oftentimes I fantasize about stabbing plumbing engineers. I think my ideal day would be to stab a French plumbing engineer and then follow it up by stabbing a US plumbing engineer, because they overcomplicate out of it. Just pick a thread and be done with it. Looks like the leak test is good. Clean, clean, clean as he go. Since we've been working on boats the last couple of years, I can't tell you how many bilge pumps we've replaced because the bilge just simply burned up from trash and debris clogging up the intakes. If you want a clean cut when you're cross-cutting plywood with a skill saw, score it with a razor blade. Just be sure and don't score your finger. Had the stovetop brackets that we didn't account for in the initial shelf installation, so we had to back up and drop it about 1/2 inch. Alright guys, so kind of the end of day one on this. We have got this, the top plate is kind of just siliconed in. This nosing is wood glued on. The drawer is fully functional and just will need to be finished out. But we couldn't totally complete the job. I couldn't do this route, the final profile on the drawer, because the router fell in the ocean. Hashtag downside of boat projects at sea. So got to get a new one ordered. Thankfully we're in the USVI, we're Amazon friendly, and we'll get a new one coming. Odd thing is, we never found the router. After about 20 minutes of searching for it, we gave up. I probably could have salvaged the bit and possibly even cleaned it up and finished the job. So that's kind of where we got yesterday. Functional drawer, no finish, all glued together. So once the new router and bits come in that we dropped in the ocean yesterday, we can finish that up and get some sealant on it. But it is the weekend, and we vowed last season to what on the weekends? What are we gonna do?
Go away from
Go away. So we're got the engines fired up, got the instruments on, and we are gonna head to Frenchman's for a couple of days. Remember to always score your plywood and don't score your fingers. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe and all that jazz. And if you have any specific questions about the install, reach out to us through the website at www.sailinglunacy.com.